Yike, this is Sammy Local Podcast, podcast number 111, 111. I'm your host, Sammy Loco, and I'm here with, go and introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kamio from the Carolinas, Charlotte to be exact. Up and coming, neo soul artist, singer, songwriter, rapper. Maybe I do it.
So tell us a little bit about the Carolinas and like the musical scene there.
Well, first the Carolinas is really like based on agriculture. Kind of like country life, but also city life. So the best of both worlds. So I was raised, in the best of both worlds. I was raised in the country and I was raised in the city. So I kind of know both of, how life kind of works in both of those ways. Now, when it comes to the music scene, I would say personally, I've been mostly underground here. So it's kind of growing. I mean, ever since, the baby came out, of course, we have Fantasia and Anthony Hamilton, but I feel like when the baby came out, he really brought a lot of more musical opportunities to the city. So that resulted in the growth of not only just the underground, but kind of like everything, poetry, dance, kind of all like the creative arts, bringing more light to that.
What can you say personally when it comes to the music that influenced you? How does it affect you personally and musically?
Um, I mean, the music that I grew up on was like gospel, R&B, neo soul. So that definitely influenced me, to create music like that, to create feel good music. I was always told, I have a voice where you want to sit and drink wine and just relax and kick back. So that definitely influenced my decision. But being versatile, I kind of like to do not only neo soul and R&B, but like pop and a little bit of trap, like kind of trap soul type thing. So just having those like artists like Anthony Hamilton, Music Soul Child, people like that, definitely were a big part of my childhood.
How about personally? How's it affected your day-to-day life? Like when it comes to music, how do you want people to feel when they listen to it?
I want people to be able to relate. I think my biggest thing these days is music is not relatable. A lot of people is listening to this and they want to be like that, but in reality, it's not. It's a facade. So I think personally, it's always being able to be relatable, and be encouraging. A lot of people need encouragement, motivation, and just to hear somebody is there for them or has been through, what they're going through. So that's important to me, and that impacted me personally as well.
What type of songwriter are you? Are you the type of songwriter that takes their time or they have to grasp life and then write? What kind of writer are you?
Um, I'm Uh, I guess I would be kind of both, just because I've been through, times where I have writer's block and I haven't been able to like write anything until, a major event happened. And then there's times where I'm just like, I'm in the studio, I'm freestyling, I'm go, go, go. I can knock out an album in one night type of deal. So I think kind of both.
As far as like writer's block, how do you tackle that? Because a lot of people, really struggle with that sometimes.
Hmm. Yeah, I just go through it. If I have writer's block, I just accept it. I'm the type of person, I don't like to force things in life. So I'm not gonna force, not being able to write something. If I can't think about it, then I just can't. I'll listen to beats until something clicks. But yeah, I'm not gonna force it if I have writer's block. A lot of meditation helps too.
How deep are you into it with meditation? What is your, well, I guess you can't tell me your steps, but what are your, like, the ways you go about meditating?
Really just finding a quiet place. I have spots in the city where I like to go to be alone, where I have a good view, and really just maybe start with some music or really just silence. And then you go into, closing your eyes and actually being focused on your breathing. But for me, it all starts with location.
Hmm. How about when, you know, you're on stage? Does that help you? Or maybe since you're talking about breathing, does that help you when making a song or doing a stage performance? Or how does that help you making music?
Uh, I'm actually very much new to the whole actually practicing meditation. Breathing, though, has always been my thing. I've always known how to breathe, when to breathe, um, and how it'll affect even my performances. So that's the first thing I do before I hit the stage. I get nervous just like everybody else, and I freak out. My stomach, goes in the knots the whole nine. But just taking a moment to just breathe, maybe even pray and relax my mind, calm my nerves, and then I'm ready to go.
When doing a stage performance, what pointers can you give out to people that, are just started making music or want to first get on stage for the first time?
Definitely know your crowd, know your people, so you know how they vibe, because you can be in an area where it's mostly rappers or hype people, and then you have people who are judges or something like that who'll tell you, oh, you're not bringing enough energy and stuff like that. But it's like, that's not my type of music. I'm not jumping around a stage. Now I do have songs like that, but mostly when I perform, I'm bringing a nice sensual, you know, slow vibe. So I think it's important that people know their audience. That's key.
What's uh what's your daily regimen as far as just personal life, like your day-to-day life basis, like as far as just who you are?
Oh, I wake up, I usually take a shower. I always sit in the bathroom, let the shower run for like at least 10, 15 minutes. That's just something I do. Bad habit, but personally it's like my peaceful time, my meditation time. I like get my life together. Um, I always wake up with positive uh, notes in my head mentally. That way I can just get up out of bed and go. Because when I find when I have negative thoughts or, oh, I don't want to get up today, I really don't want to get up and I don't. So start my day with that, and then getting some coffee and just going for it. With that coffee and some music, I'm vibing out all day. I'm working. Um, I'm an entrepreneur and I have a job. So it really helps me get through my day. I have long days, long nights. So that's kind of how I start my day. And I like to end my day with a good meal. Usually, if I'm smoking at the time, a nice blunt, some wine, and just good vibes, you know. So,
Okay, so when you're talking about Carolina, like based off what I've seen, it's a lot of barbecue spots over there. Like,
yeah.
what is your favorite food over there?
Oh, that's good you asked, because I don't eat barbecue. I
Damn,
actually don't like it. I don't like sweet tea. But
damn.
I love like soul food, macaroni and cheese, and I just got hip to sushi and Indian food,
Oh,
which have become my two favorites. And so it's not your typical, Southern food, but soul food is always going to be number one in my heart.
for the white people out there, can you tell them the difference between soul food and barbecue food? Well, barbecue.
Soul food is your fried chicken, meatloaf, um, your mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, greens, cornbread, hush puppy, stuff like that. White people would agree because they love Bojangles, they love Mertz, Heart and Soul, like they love our food. But when it comes to barbecue, they can really smoke meat. I mean, it's all about the meat for them, just pure meat. And they do have your sides. I don't really like the sides because it's not giving like, your baked mac and yams and stuff like that. They don't have it like that. But they do try. But the best thing they can do is smoke meat. And I think that's why people enjoy it so much, because it gives you that really good smoky, flavor that they crave.
As far as your music goes, can you tell us like your favorite song? And I know this is like sacrilegious, but what is your worst song in your opinion? Because musicians are pretty much like tough critiques on their own self.
Yeah, definitely. Because I actually have a lot of music where I didn't drop it because I felt like it wasn't good or it wasn't a hit or people wouldn't vibe with it. I have a song called Slow Down, and it would probably have to be my worst song, even though I would say it still got, like a good cadence, good lyrics. But I would have to say that's probably not my best song. My favorite song I've ever done is called Weirdos, and it's just a vibe. Like it sounds like it should be on the radio to me. And people have told me this before. I've tried pushing it, and sometimes those songs you just have to keep pushing it until it blows. But that would be my most favorite song I've ever made, Weirdos.
So you being from the Carolinas, and of course we all know about the baby and everything like that. How hard is it to try to get that push, like trying to get to the radio or whatever the case may be?
Well, now not so much because I kind of know the business side of everything. I've been doing this since I was 16 years old. So 10 years in the game underground, just kind of going out to places, meeting people. It was hard because I felt like I'm not like very much an outspoken person. I'm very much an introvert. So for me, I think that was the hardest part. But now that I kind of know the music side of things, it really just takes promotion and it takes you knocking down doors. And so once you get past that promotion part and you just start sending out your tape, I think that's key. Now, in today's society, it's a little different because you had back in the day your masterpiece, they were selling, CDs out of their trunk. Where now we have social media, so anybody can go viral. So I think that marketing and promotion is the key, and just knowing the business side of things is kind of going to make it a little bit easier. It's not easy, but you know how to maneuver now, and I think that was big for me.
So while visiting your YouTube, I see that you're very into hair. I see you always have your hairstyles different. Can you
Yeah.
tell the ladies out there, maybe the men too, how how you go about that? What's the how should I say that? Because I how should I say it in a better way? But how do you have the urge every day changing your hairstyle, or if you don't, having the urge to just change it? Period.
Well, growing up, my mom always told me to make sure you look the part. It don't matter where you're going, the grocery store, you know, to pick up some food, the gas station, whatever. Make sure you look decent. So for me, that always started with my hair. And she always kept our hair done. She always did our hair. So growing up, it was only right for me to just keep that going. And I do my own hair. So you can imagine, how tedious that can be, time consuming. But I have those days where I'm just like, I'm not doing anything today. The only thing I'm doing is my hair. And that's what I'll do. I've been doing that since I was in high school because we used to get our hair done, religiously every 2 weeks. We were getting our hair done. So it kind of just stuck with me throughout the years. And then once I learned how to do my own hair, I was like, oh, I'm saving money and I still look cute. So it was a no brainer for me. I'll make that time.
So, what is one step you can tell a female about her hair, and what can you tell guys about their hair? Like, what tips can you give a guy? What tips can you give a female?
Well, for guys, I think it's mostly just keeping their hair moisturized. They always want a woman to do their hair, but they don't realize once we do it, what are you going to do after that to keep it up?
Mhm.
Uh, there's a lot of dudes, that's not what they think about. Just get a haircut and go. But if you want to grow your hair, you got to moisturize, you got to oil your scalp, you got to, put your leave in and stuff like that. So I always tell them that because I used to do, retwist and twist up guys' hairs and stuff like that. Now for my ladies, I mean, most of the time my ladies have it all together. They know we need that grease, we need that oil. So it's pretty much not a lot to say to women. I think though, personally, since because I just recently cut all my hair off, so I think for if a woman wants to try new things, I think she should do it. Um, don't be afraid to change your hair, cut it all off, whatever the case may be, because we're not our hair. A person is more than just their hair. So I think that's important. If you want to change it up, do it.
Gotcha. Um, we're gonna play a little game called one name one thing. So I'm just gonna go through a list of everything. I usually do that's local, but it's a little wild. So
Okay.
name me one thing people misunderstood about you. Misunderstand about you. Sorry.
My personality.
Why is that?
Because I'm quiet, I'm standoffish, but I love hard. Once you become my friend, homie, whatever, I'm willing to do anything, to see you smile. If you're down bad or if you need help, you need a hug, you're going through something, I'm one way. And then there's times when I don't feel like being surrounded by people because as an introvert and as an empath, I get overly stimulated and overwhelmed with not only my, life problems, but other people's. So that to some people says, oh, you don't, want to talk to me, or you're not really my friend, or you don't tell me all your business, because I've never been like that. So I think my personality is something that's definitely been misunderstood growing up.
One thing that you can change about social media.
uh Really, the whole concept, just having to like, how do I say it, be a part of the statistic of society, um, type of ordeal. Everybody wants to be like everybody else instead of themselves. When growing up, you were on MySpace and Tumblr, and it was just like be your own vibe, be cool. And it's not like that anymore. It's too much. Everybody wants to be monetized, and I got to do this. I got to, show my butt, show my body just to get likes. And I hate that.
One thing you can change about the Carolinas, period. South Carolina and North Carolina.
Mm. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna say I wish they wouldn't allow people to move here. That like if you're not born here, don't move here, because you people don't really understand how the Carolinas work, and they come here and start messing up the flow stuff. That would be my thing.
Okay. One thing you can change about the music industry.
mm. Again, the so society's statistic. So you got all these females coming out, but all they're talking about is their body, what they want from a man or can take from a man. And it's like, where's the real music at? Where's the music soul childs and Anthony Hamilton's and just the real music? Those guys never cared about how much money they made. It was purely about giving people something good to listen to. And I think that is something that I miss about, or wish that the music industry was still about. Now it's all about money, and if this girl can bring in fans and dudes, then that's what they want.
Mm. One thing you can change about yourself.
um I grew up with wrinkly hands. I don't know why wrinkly hands. I don't know where this came from. It's just like a genetic thing. I used to get picked on all the time for it, but that would be the only thing. That was the only thing that like made me insecure growing up. So I would definitely say my wrinkly hands.
Mm. One thing about your style.
Hmm. Comfy. Oh, what do I change about it?
Hmm.
Oh, dude, I just wish I had more money so I could really like bring it out more because it's kind of hard when you have all these bills and stuff. So I think just having more money to explore
I know all about that. Uh,
it.
one thing you can't do but wish you can do.
Skate, roller skate.
What kind of level you talking about? You talking about TI and ATL, or you talking about roll
Oh,
bounce? I don't.
I'm
What?
talking about roll bounce. I'm talking about I want to do the routine, the whole nine. Because growing up, I was the one kid that would be sitting on the side like, no, you guys just go have fun. I was terrified. I did not want to fall on my butt. I had already twice. It's like, yeah, I'm done with this. But I see people now just, skating down the highway or the street, and I'm just like, man, that's something that I need to learn how
Hold time up.
to do.
The highway.
Well, not the highway, but like the road, like the local roads, not necessarily the freeway, but shoot, I
Ah,
don't know. The way they be out here now, it's no telling.
I guess I got too many potholes in Baltimore to be doing that. So
Oh
I,
yeah, I know.
yeah. So that's
Not anymore.
no. Uh, um, one thing you wish that in your past that you would have known now.
Oh, um, I think it would be family, like family problems sort of thing. Like, my granddad, he kind of messed up his marriage, and my parents have siblings they don't really know, and so I think stuff like that kind of broke up the family a little bit. So I think that would be something I'd like to change.
Do you have an idea of how you could have fixed it, or
No, I mean, there's definitely nothing that I could have done. There's still nothing I can do. It's something that they have to fix, unfortunately, and they are at a point where they're too tired to even care anymore. My grandmother is. Um, so the only thing that I can do to fix it is to make this music work. I need to be able to give my grandmother the life that she used to have, because she misses that life. Like my granddad was an actor, so he had the money rolling in, he had the gigs, the jobs, um, they had the house, the cars, the life, and she lost it all. And I think for me personally, I just want to see her happy again. I want to see her, putting her wigs on and getting her nails done and just being free like she used to be. That is important. Family is everything to me. So that's the only way that we could bring that back, really.
mm. And the last thing is one thing you can change about Kanye.
Oh, okay. I need his I need his genuine spirit back. I think when he got too caught up in Hollywood, he lost who he was. Cause I really messed with Kanye. Like I messed with him for who he was when he first started, and he completely changed. So I think his just genuine personality, and genuine spirit. Let's see that again.
Do you think money changes people?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So do you think it applies to everybody or some people?
Well, I mean, you know, I guess people don't really know until they get it. because I could say personally, I got my first lump sum, and the first thing I wanted to do was give back, and that's just the type of person I am. I went to everybody I knew, and I literally wanted to give back. So I can't really say that maybe it's for everybody or not, but I do know that a person will never know if it's going to change them until they see that first $1 million or they see that first 100 grand.
Mm,
You don't know.
ain't no doubt. Um,
Yep.
I discovered you through Analogical the Poet. You had a
Hmm.
song called I Am Grateful. Can you tell me the process and how you met him?
I believe we have been in the same vicinity when it comes to like poetry slams,
Hmm.
open mics and stuff like that out in Charlotte. He recently told me he moved back home and then he was coming back out to the city to, work on his music and get some things done. So it was briefly, and I don't think we ever talked. I think we just followed each other. I saw him perform, he saw me perform, and we followed each other on social media. And he was just always supportive, always, commenting, liking, and just showing love. And then he reached out and, he said he wanted me on a song, and I was all for it. I was all for it. I love to do features. I love supporting other artists who are just like me, especially if you're talented and you got it, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in the industry. So when he hit me up, I was all for it. He sent me the beat. I think I wrote to it. No, he sent me the beat, and then I went to the studio like a couple weeks later, and I wrote in the studio and sent it back, and it was done within a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uh, what did what did you how should I say like how did you come about like as far as just thinking the words to that song? Like was it something personally you're going through or just something that you said, "Oh, this is easy," and write it down?
Yeah, kind of both. Cause me being, raised in like a spiritual home and, growing up in church and kind of stuff like that, I've always been taught to be grateful, to have gratitude, and never take anything for granted. So when he came to me with that song, I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is going to be great. It's right up my alley. Um, it took me no time to write to that song. And personally, at the time I did it, I was going through, just some life struggles. And I just had to remind myself, like, yeah, like you got to remain grateful no matter what the situation is. And I've lost too many people in my life for me to not know what gratitude is and for me to not, take things for granted. Losing people at a young age will have you, you know, making sure that you live every moment to the fullest. And anybody that comes into your life who supports you, make sure that you let them know, give them their flowers while they're here. So it was a no brainer. It was super, super simple, super easy. And I loved every moment of it.
When it comes to doing features, and you said that they have to be doing great, they have to be on their shit. What's one pet peeve that you say no matter what, you're not doing a song with that person?
I think when a person keeps asking me they want to do a song and they never do it, or they do a song and then never, like, they say, oh yeah, this is going to be on this and that and this, and it never happens, because I was once that person. So now that I'm able to just be in the studio, go and record and get it done, I need to be working with people like that as well. And for me, it's not always about dropping the song, but at least knowing that, in some instance, you have, a motive behind creating it.
Mm. So when it comes to being a musician, and we was talking about this earlier, but I want to dive deeper into it. What are some struggles besides writer's block that you would have as being a musician and doing what you do?
So some struggles behind, um, say that again. Struggle.
Okay, so besides writer's block, what else would be a struggle for being a musician, especially doing what you're doing, which is pure emotion. You can't fake it. You can't fake it pretty much.
Mm.
Um, what are the struggles behind that?
I think when you get into like the competition world, you're not only competing with other singers, but you may be competing with rappers. And when that emotion, like you said, does come about, um, people are gonna question, do you really like what you do, or do you really have the energy to bring to the stage? And I think that's for me, that's challenging because it's like if you listen to the lyrics of the song, I'm not going to be jumping across the stage and, waving my hands and stuff like that. It's not going to be that type of vibe. So I've always struggled with just kind of knowing how to get the crowd moving or, vibing and stuff. And for me, I think I overthink it a lot because I can go to one event, kill it. Everybody's like, oh my God, you did amazing. I vibed out. I'm loving it. And then there's another event where it's like, everybody, the crowd is dead. It's like, no energy in the crowd. Nobody's feeling it really. So that's always been a struggle. Besides writer's block is just kind of figuring out, do I want to be the type of person that jumps across the stage, or do I want to still have that chill vibe, that, sit back, relax, drink wine type of vibe?
So since it's the second time you talked about wine, where's your best wine you go to?
Oh my God. So I used to be like Chardonnay type, Pinot Grigio, basic, but I actually found blueberry wine and now I'm
Mm,
addicted. It's so good. I don't care what brand it is. Blueberry
okay.
wine, amazing.
Don't like vino?
I've never had that.
A lot of people haven't had that. Okay. So what is the worst wine to go to then? Worst wine that you ever taste?
I don't even think I've ever tasted a bad wine because, I mean, wine is wine. Chardonnay, though, is probably like the most bitter to me. I like more sweet wines.
Oh, so you probably like the cotton candy stuff that give you a headache type stuff.
No, not like pink Moscato. I like pink Moscato. Um, I like Cabernet Sauvignon, I think it is. Something like that.
Mm.
It doesn't give me a headache.
Oh.
But blueberry wine, I'm telling you, it's gonna change your life.
Wrapping up, what are some features that you would love to do? And this is your time to shine. Just tell people I would like to do a feature with this person.
Mm, locally, let's see. I've I don't know. Like I'm always working with people, so let me see. I usually I've never done I don't have any specific names right now. Big names though, I do want to work with like Anthony Hamilton. I do want to work with Music Soul Child. Um, and there's a couple rappers like Big Baby Gucci, he's from Carolinas. Um, who else? Like locally though, there's a couple singers here. God, I can't think of her name right now. Mystique, she's amazing. Um, and I'm still meeting a lot of singers too. I'm still meeting a lot of artists. Like I said, I've done a lot of collabs. So basically everybody that I've ever wanted to collab with, I've already done a collab locally. I think now I'm ready to go to higher heights. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've pretty much worked with everybody that I've ever wanted to, that's in the city right now.
Will there ever be a time in the near future or future that you'll have your own individual album? And do you have a name for it?
Oh God, yeah. I've already like wrote it down and everything. My whole thing again is just marketing and promo. So I don't want to drop without having that done, and having that finalized and in order and just ready to go. I'm actually working on some singles right now. So I have one single that I'm promoting called Pudding. And if you go to my Instagram at the real Kamio, Kamio, you'll kind of see like my trailers and TikToks. But I'll be dropping that. Hopefully, I might drop it on my birthday next year, um, or sooner. I'm not really sure. I don't have a date for that yet. But as far as an album, yeah, I've already written it all out. I just want to make sure I have my um, stuff in order. And I actually forgot the name of that. I wrote it down somewhere on one of my phones.
Gotcha. Um, when it comes to how should I say it, as far as looking into going into the music industry, do you would you ever be independently or sign a major deal or what?
I have stipulations. So if I were to sign a major deal, there would be stipulations. Won't be the type of artist that you can just take and do whatever you want with. It's got to be a couple singles type of deal or a distribution deal.
Mm,
Um, but I do basically am already independent and have been, and I don't plan on changing that unless somebody comes and says, you know what, I'm gonna do what you want to do. We can do it that way. Let's drop some singles. Let's put you on a distribution deal, and we'll make it pop that way. If it doesn't pop, then we'll let you go. Other than that, I'm not signing anything.
mm. And the last question, as people will hear this, even with Neo Soul, which people still go to the festivals every year,
Mhm.
do you think R&B is dead?
No, it'll never die because you've got so much old school music that's gonna last us till the beginning of the next time that is inevitable. But what I do wish is that we can get more R&B neo soul artists out there so we have more music to continue to listen to, especially for this newer generation growing up. All they're hearing is sex, drugs, and money. And that's not going to really impact your life or get you anywhere other than wanting to be like somebody else. So, no, I don't think it's dead. And I don't think it'll ever die.
Mm. So wrapping up, can you tell everybody where to find you, how to get in touch with you, how to get a feature out of you, and etc.
Yeah, you can hit me up at the real Cameo, TheRealKamio. That's on Instagram. My Facebook is my real name, Nia Kamani. And I do have a Twitter, which is the real Cameo, which I really don't get on too much. But I do all my business stuff through Instagram. So that's where you can find me. That's where you can hit me up. I do have a price list now for features, which is still reasonable. I like to work with people, work with their budgets because we're all still getting there. But yeah, that's how you can reach me. That's how you can get a feature. Um, and I do have a link tree on there as well. So you can always reach me through that too. So
So that is a wrap for podcast 111, 111. I'm your host, Sammy Loco, and we're out.